I should say that for quite some time, I mean, it occurred to me that when I thought about like my original arrest, like during last December 2022, there were many peculiar things with this arrest, many peculiar things, and one of the theories that I thought like and especially there was many peculiarities with how like my mother and her husband spoke with me and treated me like after I came to their apartment in house arrest. After I was released from a very long arrest, like 16 days, which is incredibly atypical for nothing at all. But it occurred to me that maybe this is another clone situation, that someone, maybe the Americans probably, made like a deal with the Israelis to get me, and of course they received the clone, and like for crazy reason that I never understood, like there should be like a replacement for the supposedly Titan or Titaness that is been moved. Why? I don't know. So I'm like the replacement, which is kind of like things that repeated many times in the past in all sort of like flavors, and I still do not know if it's true or not. I should say two things that are very important to say. First, if it was true, of course, again, the Americans spoke, moved tongue and mouth instead of arms and legs. So I was tortured for since last December, and I haven't seen my daughter since last December. So not only I'm tortured, but also my daughters, young children, because of the Americans and their vanity. Because of course they should have known that any deal with the Israelis would, for certain, result in them getting a clone. This is and I've actually said it many times in the past, like in all sorts of publications. So this is a terrible crime, and of course I have no wish to live in the United States. I wish to live in China. I cannot stand these cruel bastards, these cruel people. But another thing that should be said that is even more important, and I've said it in the past, but you should say it again. The whole clone situation, the way that someone, like some international body or maybe a specific state, like United States or China or whatever, like they presumably speak with the Israelis. Presumably they speak with the Israelis, and they are doing an arrangement in which the money is transferred to the Israelis or something is transferred to the Israelis, and the Israelis are letting a Titan go. Whether it's me or as a cherub, but or another person, Titan, or any other reincarnation of the cherub, of myself. And then the Israelis are actually giving them a clone because they have clones, and the receiving part doesn't care at all, and do not even bother to have any check, and they just get it presumably with other Titan females, because as we know, there is a dependency between the Titan females and the male cherub. But this is not even a necessary part of the situation. But maybe it's several versions. He's also released with many Titan females, and of course the clone has been and they don't care at all and the Titan females just say that yes, this is him, because they don't give a shit. And of course and the Americans or whoever don't even bother to check. And the real cherub or myself is rotting in Israel, in horrible horrible situation with no one that can help him, and presumably a clone that is just waiting to commit suicide or any other kind of ludicrous action that the Israelis expect the clones to actually commit. So I should say something about this kind of scenario that I'm certain happened many times in the past. Maybe this is right now we are in the middle of such a scenario, but it's very important to say this scenario is, and I understood it after a long time. Because the outcome of this situation was, I understood by divination years ago, and I've actually spoken about it in several YouTube, Twitter, whatever. But after a lot of thought, I understood it. Many divinations, you don't need to accept the situation as something that occurred specifically in a given time, because this is a metaphor for my existence. Any day of my life was this scenario exactly. Any day of my life. My life is comprised of days that each day is just that. Each day just is that. This is the every day of my life. Because let's think, what's the important part of this scenario? What's the essence of this scenario? Not maybe mundane details or unnecessary artistic flavoring. But what's the gist? What's the I mean, what's going on? Like, what makes this situation like? What is like the special quality of the situation? That the cherub doesn't live in Israel but in another place? Who said it? I mean, why? Presumably he's a free person, he can go wherever he wants. Like after he's released, he can go wherever he wants. Maybe he chooses to go whatever. And the way that he's released is also not like the important part. Like who cares if it's like in a carrier, like aircraft carrier or submarine or an airplane or by leg or with like a convoy of camels in the desert. Who cares? This is not the main issue. The main issue is that other people outside Israel accepted the fact that the Son of God is either a clown or a pervert or a complete buffoon or a mix of all of these. Because for certain that's what they've received from the Israelis. Most probably a pervert, because that's what they have, and they wouldn't resist, they couldn't resist, the temptation actually to send a pervert as the Son of God, but maybe also a clown and a buffoon. And actually the people accepted it as the Son of God and didn't ask any question at all. Because, why not? Why shouldn't the Son of God be such a person? Maybe, presumably, God cannot choose his sons and daughters. It's kind of like, this is a citation that I like of Martin Buber from his interpretation for the books of Judges and Samuel. God chooses his own daughters and sons. Why should God choose a son that is pervert and a clown and a buffoon? And why should God choose a son that presumably leaves his family, his daughters, behind him and doesn't care at all about them, and accept the fact that he will be replaced with some kind of a poor creature that is destined to cannibalization by the Israelis, or any other mechanic that they use in order to recycle their clones, which is incredibly cruel. So the Son of God will actually, not only that it will be a pervert and a buffoon and a clown, he will also accept, mundanely abandon his daughters, and will accept the fact that a part of the the resolution of the situation is that another helpless creature should be sacrificed to sacrifice to the Israeli terrible gods as part of the process. And not to mention that most probably this we can assume that most probably as part of the whole situation, this clone would also indulge in all sorts of pervert sex with the Titan females. Probably kind of sex that require them to change their form that they can do. But what do we care if this kind of sex happens on the boat, or on a plane, or when they reach Los Angeles, or when they reach Hong Kong, or maybe they decide to just some place in the future to go get back and live in Hadera in Israel for some reason. And then they do their pervert sex. It doesn't matter. The issue is that you accept, the receiver side accepted that this is the Son of God. And this is exactly the situation, because you know for a fact that I have many clones in Israel, and that one of the things that they like to do the most is pervert sex. And of course this is not, even if it's criminal, it's not admissible in court, because it's easy to prove that it's not me. And I actually was never accused in it. Everything that, all accusations are behind my back, between intelligence services, or presumably, secret trials that, the accused is not even aware of the trials. Because, if it was a normal trial, it was, according to any kind of, judicial process, even according to the Spanish or Portuguese Inquisition, it would have taken a minute for me to actually, disprove everything, and they know it, the Israeli intelligence. It's just, a charade. And this charade takes place for many, many years. And this charade happens because many people outside of Israel are buying these movies and like to watch it. These videos. They are buying these stories, and they are, they like this thing. These movies, these videos, they have their audience. If no one in else, would have even accepted this, something that they can, they would not even put it in their hard drives, such videos. They will never watch it in any kind of like any other way that you have to transfer information. If you, would have decided, like intelligence services of the world would have decided that they only watch like evidence that is admissible in court, which makes total sense and is the moral thing to do, and just that's the correct thing to do. These videos would not have even been prepared on the first place, and many suffering would have been avoided. But you decided to watch it. So in essence, every day of my life is just this scenario. Because we have all the components. I am left to rot in Israel. People think that I am like a pervert and a buffoon and a clown. People think that I'm engaging in pervert sex with all sorts of Tatan females. And the Israelis accept money from abroad in order, to be my, to be my guardians, or whatever. So I'm treated like as a commodity. So every day of my life is this scenario. Every day of my life is the clone scenario. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. It's not a matter of like weeks or days, it's a matter of hours. It's a matter of hours until, radiation, reach to level that, you are all cancered. Like, all of you. All around the globe. Perhaps you don't care. Perhaps, you decided like that, you rather end humanity with cancer than just, do the right thing and, get the stranger out of this hell. Maybe, the ego, completely overtook all of your judgment. I don't know. Anyway, it's not, these are the last hours. We had enough of your mouths and tongues.